Hi everybody, welcome back to Dave's Math channel. This is my continuing feature on daily math problems that I post every few days on the Facebook group Classical Mathematics. This is another recent one I posted a few days ago. This one involves these hyperbolic function representations of Fibonacci. So anyway, let's begin. So here's a statement of the problem. We want to basically derive the formulas I just showed you for the Fibonacci numbers in terms of hyperbolic sine and hyperbolic cosine using the Binet formula, which I think I did in a previous video, maybe less than a month ago. This is a very nice formula. F sub n, that's the nth Fibonacci number, is equal to alpha to the n minus beta to the n all over square root of 5, where alpha is the golden ratio, also it's equal to 1 plus square root of 5 over 2, or approximately 1.61803. That's a very well-known irrational constant. It's usually denoted as phi, but I write it as alpha here. This is how the Fibonacci formula does it. And then there's also its algebraic conjugate, beta, which is, this should be minus 1 over alpha, by the way. It's 1 minus the square root of 5 over 2, or approximately negative 0.61803. Anyway, so now using those formulas for alpha and beta and the Binet formula, we should be able to derive these hyperbolic sine and cosine representations of the n Fibonacci number. Notice that it has a different form when n is even versus when n is odd. So anyway, this is a pretty straightforward problem, I think. It's just a matter of kind of crunching out the formulas. So we start with these representations of hyperbolic sine and hyperbolic cosine. These are very well known. As a matter of fact, this is the way they're usually defined. So we say the hyperbolic sine of x is equal to e to the x minus e to the minus x all over 2. And similarly, the hyperbolic cosine is e to the x plus e to the minus x over 2. In case you're interested, this doesn't really have to be a problem, but the type of curve given by hyperbolic cosine is known as a catenary curve. And it's the shape of a hanging chain or a hanging string. So it's a useful function. It's also the shape of the gateway arch in St. Louis, although that one's inverted. It turns out to be the most stable shape for an arch. But anyway, it's kind of a digression. So now we just want to apply these formulas. So we could do a little bit of algebraic manipulation on the Binet formula. And, first thing we notice is that we can write beta as minus 1 over alpha, like I showed earlier. And if you do that and simplify, I'm pulling out this factor of 2 over square root of 5. That's going to turn out to be a, our constant a. And then what you're left with inside this bracket is alpha to the n plus minus 1 to the n plus 1 times alpha to the minus n all over 2. And that looks kind of ugly, but we can consider the case where n is even and n is odd separately. So let's first look at the case where n is even. In that case, we just have minus 1 to the n plus 1 is minus 1. So that factor of minus 1 to the n plus 1, we could just replace that with a single minus sign. In this case, we get f sub n is 2 over square root of 5 times alpha to the n minus alpha to the minus n over 2. And now we just have to do a little bit more manipulation. We want to get these as e to some power. We don't want alpha to some power. We want e to some power. And I think you guys all know that alpha is equal to e to the log alpha. That's true in general. E to the log x equals x. That's an identity because the natural logarithm is the inverse function of e to the x, and vice versa. So if we really use the nth power, we get alpha to the n is e to the log alpha to the n. And because of the way exponents work, that's also e to the n log alpha. So the second term should be e to the minus n log alpha. That's a typo. So we have f of n is 2 over square root of 5 times e to the n log alpha minus e to the minus n log alpha all over 2. And if we compare that to the formula for the hyperbolic sine, we find that that's just the factor in parentheses is just the hyperbolic sine of n log alpha, because that's the definition. We're just letting x equal n log alpha, the definition. Well, that's nice, because now we found a and b. A is 2 over square root of 5, that's a constant front. B is a constant multiplying n inside the argument of the hyperbolic sine, which is log alpha. So that means that alpha is 2 over square root of 5. If you want to compute that numerically, it's approximately 0.894427. And b is the natural logarithm of alpha, natural logarithm of the golden ratio, if you like. And that's approximately 0.481212. And I'm not going to go through the derivation, but it's pretty much exactly the same derivation where the case where n is odd. The only difference in that case, you'll get minus 1 of the n plus 1 equals plus 1. So then we get the hyperbolic cosine instead of the hyperbolic sine. Same calculation, basically. So that shows how you can get these formulas, which I think are kind of nice formulas. And I think before I quit, I just want to say one more thing. It's actually possible, I've seen this done. You can write a single function for f sub n where n is no longer required to be an integer. As a matter of fact, you can let n, the index of the Fibonacci numbers, be an arbitrary complex number. It turns out there's an analytic formula for f sub n or f sub x, f sub z, like there's an analytic function of z. And you start with these two formulas I just derived to get that. Anyway, just thought I'd mention. So that completes my video for today on these formulas for the nth Fibonacci number. So thank you for watching. Long live math, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.